how to eat for the best you without thinking too much, right? So, five things I wish I knew like years and years and years ago. Right? You're not most of the time you're not really hungry. You're either thirsty or you're bored. I think I don't know if we can probably all relate to that. Most things you haven't thought about food is actually incorrect. There is so much nonsense out there, right? Number three, nobody disagrees with vegetables. That's the one thing that always sticks out to me. Like all of these diets and things, like ways of eating comes by. I've never ever heard anybody be like, "Oh yeah, don't eat so much vegetables. Focus on eating enough of the good stuff, as opposed to like what you shouldn't eat." If your belly is full of enough of the good stuff, it's at that point then you're just like fighting with yourself as to like how you want a little bit of sugar here and there or whatnot. So master the basics and stop living in the details. Food is a huge business. We got to recognize that. Like if we follow the money, you realize that there's a lot of people benefiting from how we eat and what is produced and what isn't produced. You know.
Mhm.
All right. So let's go with the simple questions. What should I eat? Eat garden vegetables, especially leafy greens, nuts and seeds. Now I put here some meat because I truly believe that it's up to you, kind of like how you want to maneuver. And what I mean by that is, at this point, most of us know that, like, you know, meat is not the greatest in terms of a lot of different things, but it makes it even worse in how it's produced. It's a little different when you, for me at least, let me speak to me, when you see the cow that's been lived with you for years and like eating good green grass, and the chicken that's like free range and running around and having good food and no diseases. You notice, that chicken was happy before you had to cut the neck. To me, I truly believe that's way different than the meat that we're eating here. So you know, I'm not gonna tell somebody right off the bat, "Hey, cut out all meat." You see how important meat is to the food industry. Meat is literally what they charge for. So if I'm asking someone, I'm like, bro, just give me enough vegetables first and foremost, and then we'll worry about the rest. Give me enough nuts and seeds. We'll worry about the rest. If you are at that point gonna have some meat, some organic good meat where you know where it comes from, you know where the eggs come from. In fact, one thing that I've been talking to them about is going, and you can go to like a local farm, and have them raise animals for you, and even have animals that are like have good lives, no stress hormones, etc. And you can, if you're gonna eat meat, that's the direction to go with. But I put that in parentheses because I really think like if you want to go meatless, like honestly, I applaud you, right? I'm pretty damn close. Um, but a little starch. We all know what that is, and no sugar. See, this is where I'm gonna fight you more than I'm gonna fight you here, because this is out of control. Ladies and gentlemen, this is out of control. And this is so tied to so many things, diabetes, like pretty much everything, man. This is in things you wouldn't even imagine it's in. All right. This is really killing us. So, what should I eat without thinking too much? That's my quasi list right there. Now, when should I eat? Practice time restricted eating. This thing is a game changer. Game changer because you go from being essentially tied to food to now you're telling your body over time when to expect food, like you're training your body. And I mean, I won't go too deep into like the benefits of time restricted eating, but I mean, if you've talked to me in the last month or two, you know that I stand by this pretty strongly, because you can layer this with everything. Whether you're vegan or you're carnivore, you can layer this with time restricted eating and get better results. So I really think everyone should practice time restricted eating. And I really think you think about it in terms of, I've actually stopped saying intermittent fasting, and I've said time restricted eating, because It is really time restriction that's key. I really think you should think about it in terms of watering window and feeding window, because the focus when you're not eating is not on food. The focus is on the other stuff, is on getting enough water, right? And water is one category, just like meat, that you can dive in, then the rabbit hole is a lot deeper than you think it is. How should I eat? Eat enough. If you practice time restricted eating, what I have found for me is that like the amount that I can eat in 4 hours, 6 hours, hardly ever goes over what I need. Right now, if you want to take that as a challenge, go ahead. But you know, hardly ever goes over if you do it right. Digestion starts in the mouth. Chew it well. Eat with positive people. That's a huge piece of why how our eating culture has developed anyway. And eat with a grateful heart. Whether you're religious or not, saying thanks and giving thanks to your for your food has been shown to increase the amount of nutrients you actually get from your food. So eating with a grateful heart as opposed to just stuffing your face just to go is very important, because eating, guys, if we really think about it, is really like a spiritual thing. And when we eat mindlessly, it's transferred into our body. Okay, anything else? Yes, log your food. If you log your food, we can now go back and look at everything and have a record of what's happening. Between a record of your activities and a record of your food, we can go ahead and construct whatever story we need to construct, right? So super simple, right? I'm not counting calories, I'm not counting macros, I'm not doing anything. Now, if you come to me and we talk and you're training for something super specific, all right, bet. Let's get a little bit more detail. But this right here, I believe, will get you where you need to go. Now, if we look at 2 weeks down the road, you busting your butt in the gym and you're not losing any weight like you want to, or you're not changing your body composition like you want to, um, then we need to dive a little bit deeper into the details. But why live at that level, especially with like everything that's going on in your lives and most likely anybody else's lives? Why live at that level of the detail if you don't have to? If you keep these rules pretty simple, you'll stick to them. So for me, I'm on a 24. My watering window is 20 hours. My feeding window is four hours. On weekends or some other times, I give myself the liberty to shift. Right. So I might today I'm actually on track. So I'll break at 2. That's 20 hours for me. But say like I'm breaking at 2 because I'm having lunch with a friend. It's not that big of a deal for me if I close my window and start my feeding window at 7. All right, big freaking deal. Just at that point, from 7 to whenever you complete your full 20 hours, that's when you eat. All right, big deal. Not really that big of a problem. And I love again, for me personally, I love the freedom that comes with that. Like that's so much freedom. It's the key to that is you're allowing your insulin level. It's going to normalize and drop and go to a low rate. It's not going to spike. That's the big thing. Your insulin level really spiking like ridiculously. So this is why and another way to keep it really simple and really like to the point for me is I'm having the same type of meals for each meal. So meal 1 is always a smoothie. Meal 2 is always a salad. Meal 3 is always a cooked meal, and that's the only meal I cook. And then meal 4 is like teas, digestive stuff that I take on. This is the example of the smoothie. It pretty much something like this. I can mass produce it at this point. Um, and you've probably seen the frozen spinaches and all that stuff. Meal 2 is a salad of some sorts. So I can chop all these ingredients up, keep them separate, or I can prepare it fresh, right? I'm looking at chopped lettuce, all this stuff, real simple stuff. I baked the broccoli in this one, I believe. I believe I had some broccoli in here I baked. Put whatever you want in there. I had beets, bro. I never eat beets. and I put it in my salad. And it was, guess what? It was actually freaking delicious. I hit it with a balsamic vinegar dressing that, Naomi a magician with the dressings, bro. I ain't gonna play. She crazy with the dressings, dog. I put some tuna in there. You don't have to. You know what I'm saying? Figure out what works for you. My third meal is my cooked meal. And guys, bro, like another thing that's really helped me with this is like, this is making my food costs in my budget way more consistent and way lower. Like, I'm so freaking excited about it. By the way, if this cuts off, I'll go ahead and shoot y'all a link so we can get back on real quick if you have anything else. But I should be nearing the end here. But my cooked meal here. For my third meal, what we're doing during the week is we're doing like a meal source. So there's like either Blue Apron, HelloFresh, Freshly, Sunbasket. I've actually tried all of them. I'm currently using Sunbasket. If you have any questions, let me know. Keeps our cost super consistent, like way more than before. And it's actually not that crazy, especially if you live in a place like New York or San Francisco. So this is my cooked meal right here, freaking delicious. No thinking. I go in and I get it in. I want to spice it up. I spice it up. I don't. It's all gravy. And then I finished off with the tea. You know, this is the tea I prefer. I started experimenting with turmeric a little bit too, and I'm gonna keep like playing with this and seeing what I can add, what I can change. You could just do a freaking just regular tea, and I mean, it's not even that big of a deal.